that I wanted to continue on with the do movies dictate or emulate society was something that the listener John had also mentioned. He talks about shock value, and that's what everybody's interested in is, just how shocking or different something can be. It's not really qualitative. It's not quality. It's like, how can I shock them? And this kind of goes back to one of our subjects from several weeks ago about how movies, they seem to think that vomit is a necessary part of a movie. I mean, almost every comedy you see, somebody is regurgitating or something. I don't get the comedic value of that. And I think maybe that's what the listener is also talking about, is like, how weird can I be? How shocking can I be? Because I want to go over the top so then everybody knows who I am and I can be forever memorialized because I did this really over the top thing. And just, hey, do something else. Do something that, like, is contributing to society instead of just, hey, I did this really weird thing. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. I think that's part of the problem with social media. Everything is like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. All right, so we did have somebody else chime in on our Facebook page, and she had said that art emulates societal behaviors and cultures, and it also helps to propagate it. Now, from what she wrote, I am thinking that she means that not only does it dictate, but it does also emulate. There's no hard, fast rule of, hey, movies are telling us to do this thing, or movies are telling us that we do these things. She seems to think that it's a little bit of both. So I could see that. That would make sense also. And it could also depend on the movie. I mean, obviously, and I'm talking fiction, I'm talking total fiction. I am not talking documentaries, because documentaries are actually trying to look at some social problem, or, well, I think it's always a social problem. I don't know that I've ever seen a documentary that's a rave about something. I think that they're always out there trying to get the word out on eating better, or having a smaller carbon footprint, or any number of things that there are out there for documentaries. Now, what I was going on to about the movies, as far as what I had prepared, I think that it's sad. To me, it's sad that a lot of the movies have stopped being stories. They stopped telling stories. To me, a story has a beginning, middle, and end. Obviously, you've got the first 20 minutes or so of a movie where you've got the setup. You got to learn the characters. You got to learn what's going on. And then you've got the problem to be solved in the middle. And then you have the wrap up in the last 30 minutes or so. Now, I don't know that a lot of movies are doing that these days. It's like, okay, let me just sit on my duff for a few hours, 2 hours, and watch this show. And it doesn't tell me anything. It just is a way for me to sit around and spend some time and watch these people on the screen. I think that a movie should be a story. And I don't understand what has happened to the writers. I don't know if this is some sort of new strategy, and movies are, somebody thought, hey, this is what it takes to write a movie now. Let's refer back to the Disney thing. It seems like Disney thinks it's part of the movie that they got to kill off a parent in the first 5 minutes. Maybe somebody's teaching writers out there that you've got to just have this great ride. And honestly, sometimes it's just not a great ride. I mean, I could understand. I would be less upset if the movie was this really great movie and then the ending was kind of Like, okay, where's the ending? I don't know where it is. We didn't wrap up anything. I could forgive it if there was this great journey to get there. Well, at least I think I could. I'm not actually sure. You never know what you're going to do until you're in the thick of things anyway. But, I just don't want to sit there. I want to be entertained. And this comes back to the problem I have with what happened to comedies. Where are they? Where are they? I would like to know exactly where they are, because what I see I'm doing a lot of Netflix, and I see this genre. You select a genre for the kind of movie that you want to watch or the kind of show that you want to watch. Yes, I know streaming Netflix is not really good for movies, but I'm going to go ahead and make my point anyway. You see these things that are coded as comedies, and they're not comedies. They're dramas, or they're a horror flick with a couple of funny things in it. I mean, I watched something that was coded as a comedy, and I don't remember which movie it was. Oh, yeah, it was Freaks of Nature. We talked about that a few weeks ago. And it's like, okay, yeah, there are a couple of funny jokes in this movie, but it is not a comedy. Zombies are eating people. You see, like, guts and innards and stuff. It was gross. And I can forgive that if it's funny. Like, Shaun of the Dead was a little gross, but Shaun of the Dead, I think, was pretty funny. On that really dark, zombie-eating kind of genre way, But, I mean, really, it's really difficult to find comedies now. And it's even harder to find a comedy that's actually funny. Because, again, we're going back to the shock value of bodily excretions and being gross or saying something that's shocking or over the top. I think that people have come to rely on that kind of stuff, and it's just not necessary. I think it's a crutch. I think that there are people that have written really good stuff, and I would hope that they're still around. And if you have any great movie suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. Really, seriously. Even harder still is we already talked about trying to find a movie that's actually funny. What I've also noticed a lot about the movies that are available now a lot of them are depressing, or they're post-apocalyptic. The world is going to end. There's somebody killing everybody. There's an explosion. There's a catastrophe. Isn't there enough bad news? Can't we see some other stuff? I mean, what is it with let me look at the train wreck kind of thing? There's also the big movies with the boogeyman, and there's some malevolent spirit in the house trying to talk to the kid, or there's some old myth that comes to life that's killing everybody in town. I mean, really? Show me some funny stuff. That's just me, I guess. But, this is all, of course, fine and dandy because it's, I've got an idea of what I like to watch and how I like to spend my spare time. And you guys are definitely going to have an idea of what you like and what you want to watch in your spare time. So, I could be committing the crime of thinking everyone's of like mind, and of course they're not. That's what makes everything interesting, because people have different views and they think about things differently. I wanted to go ahead and go over some of this stuff and kind of see if I could get any feedback and talk about how, movies, I think, play a big role in our lives now. And I think that we need to be careful, what our kids watch and how we think about movies. I remember when I was a kid, I watched Fun with Dick and Jane, and this is the original version, not the remake with, what's his name? Carrie. What's his name? Anyway, I remember leaving the movie theater, and the adult that had taken me said, okay, now you guys, and it was me and my siblings, and the person says, hey, you can't go out and steal stuff like that. And I thought it was funny that this person thought that we would actually think, yeah, let's go rob banks and that's okay, and let's rob people blind and this and that and the other. But in a way, depending on how where the child is in their development, they actually might need to kind of have someone tell them, no, that's not acceptable behavior. It's a movie. It's not real. It's something that somebody made up. I mean, who knows? Who knows?